Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Seize the Day. Happy November! That's right, it's almost the end of 2017. Can you believe it? Because I can't. Now, something that people are always talking about at the end of any year, not just this year, is who killed the year, who owned this year, who made their name front stage this year. The Shade Room recently released their 2017 Lit List, which chronicles, in their opinion, 2017's biggest female stars and influencers. I'm here to tell you who's on that list, my opinion, and what changes I would make if I could. Stay tuned and listen along. Okay, so first up on the list is Rihanna. I completely agree with Rihanna being on this list. She has had an awesome year, especially after she got cheated at the Grammys last year by not getting anything for Anti, which she should have gotten like 3 in my opinion. This year she has really taken her stakes to the next level. She's building an empire. Like, if we just think about Fenty Beauty alone, the fact that she came in the game, she hasn't had any real experience in the beauty industry prior to starting Fenty Beauty, and she started it in over 40 shades for one. There are so many different undertones. There are red undertones, there are blue undertones, there are yellow undertones. She sold out in all of her darkest shades, I think, within a week. It just shows other companies that there is a market for consumers of color in the beauty industry, and if you don't, come for us, we're just gonna wait for somebody who does it and comes at us correctly. So Rihanna came correct, and she's reaping the benefits. I recently read a report that she's made already like 27 million. Hello, like, if you think, like, the holiday collection came out October 13th, Friday the 13th, and it was so cute. A lot of like vibrant colors, vibrant purples. I'm too broke to get it yet, but still it's on my list. So I completely agree with Rihanna being on this list. Okay, next on the list is Issa Rae. I will agree with Issa Rae being on this list. I'm going to admit that I'm not actually a fan of Insecure. I think I watched maybe 1 episode of Insecure and it didn't really vibe with me. But a lot of people do love Insecure, and that's a great thing about black media. It doesn't have to reach every single black person out there because we're not a monolith. So it's okay that Sierra didn't really vibe with it if Jessica did. Just seeing how she's really created an empire at HBO for creators of color, and especially how they have those contests all the time for people to enter to become production assistants, that's huge. So she's really offering a space for people who are coming up behind her, and I gotta appreciate that. Next up on the list is Tiffany Haddish, and this is completely a good decision to put her on the list. This has been Tiffany's year. Girls Trip came out, earlier in the year, and people are still talking about Girls Trip to this day. My mom just saw Girls Trip a couple of days ago, and she's already talking about, I'm gonna go buy that on Blu-ray. So just the fact that it's staying in conversation, and she was clearly the star of that show. Don't get me wrong, I loved Queen Latifah and everybody else, but Tiffany really, she was the star of that show, and I think it was okay that she was the star of that show because she was the only person in that cast other than Kofi, but he's, anyways, she was really the only person who was new. She was a new face to all of us watching that movie, and she showed out. I bet you she's not going to be new anymore, and in addition to that, she just announced that she's going to be hosting SNL soon. So it's really her year, and she's not even done making it her year. So I really got to applaud her for that. So go Tiffany, I definitely agree with that one. Next up on the list is Nicki Minaj. I guess Nicki, she's been putting out music, doing her thing, but I don't think she's been doing her thing any more extravagantly than she has done any other year. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't think of any albums of any, super business endeavors. I really can't. And this is no shade, but the last time I really saw Nicki in the news was when they were saying that she was going to testify for her brother. Anyways, I'm just saying that I feel like they felt obligated to put Nikki on this list. One, because Nikki follows the Shade Room and she always comments in the Shade Room, and it seems like whoever runs the Shade Room is trying to be a Nikki friend. I don't know about that, but I just don't know if Nikki really deserved that spot. Not saying that she didn't do anything, I just don't know if she did. If she really, you know, like if she owned the year 2017 at least. So that's just my opinion. Oh well. Okay, next up on the list is SZA. I definitely agree with SZA being on this list. SZA definitely SZA finally got hers this year. And a lot of people who have been SZA fans for a while know what I mean when I say finally got hers. She's a part of TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, with Schoolboy Q and Kendrick Lamar. And in terms of like that label, it's always been about them, you know? And Schoolboy Q, no shade again, but he's not that great. He came to perform at my school a couple of years ago live, and it was just So I'm really happy that SZA finally got hers, got her time, because she's always been considered indie and, you know, not really mainstream. But now I like that she's getting her hype. I'm liking that she's getting all the attention. Some original fans of SZA don't really like that because, you know, people who are always talking about I was an original fan and y'all just late, Okay, we get, like, you should be excited for this person who you admire and whose art you love, that they're getting recognition that they deserve. Don't you think she deserves it? I do. So I'm glad, like, when Love Galore came out, everybody was singing that song. Everybody, people who didn't even know how to pronounce SZA was singing Love Galore. And if you just think about that whole Control album is just lit. So definitely agree with SZA. Do your thing, SZA, and I'm looking out for you in 2018 too. Next up on the list is Beyonce. Now, I know what y'all are gonna say. Y'all want me to agree with what I said about Nicki with Beyonce. Well, I don't. Because Beyonce has had a lit year this year. Not only did she really take Houston under her wing when the hurricane hit, I mean, she did more than a certain president, but that's another topic for another day. Like, she really showed up and showed out for Houston. But in addition to that, she had her twins this year. And I mean, if you think about it, it's not even just Houston that she's been helping out tremendously. She put out that remix of Mi Gente with J Balvin to benefit Puerto Rico and all of the Caribbean countries that have been affected by Irma. Mind you, all of this while she's had twins. So I think she definitely deserves them to be on this list, if anybody does. Next on the list is Cardi B, and I think this is like an obvious answer. This is probably one of the few answers that everybody who's not a hater is going to agree on for being on this list. This has been Cardi's year by far. She has completely turned her life around in the time span of a year. Like, unlike anybody else, basically. She left Love and Hip Hop New York because her career was actually taking off. She got signed by Atlantic Records. What else? She was #1 on the Billboard list for like 2 weeks straight. She made history because she was the first rapper, hip hop artist, female at least, to get on the list since Lauryn Hill. Like, she was on the cover of the Fader. She just made the cover of what? Rolling Stone. She just graced the cover of Rolling Stone. No biggie. She just got engaged to Offset. I mean, that's just the thing. I can't even think of everything that she's done this year because she's literally been in the headlines, I think, every week for at least a couple of months. She is killing it, and she's showing no signs of slowing down soon. So I'm really excited to see what's next for Cardi, and I definitely agree with her being on this list. The next up on this list is Serena Williams. And this is another yes for me because much like SZA, in my opinion, Serena is finally getting the spotlight that she's been deserving for years. As the best athlete in any game of anything, she has been slighted so many times as a black woman. And by people in her industry, by people in other industries, just very sad, misogynistic, anti-black comments hitting her daily, it seemed. And she is having such a great year. She's been killing it in every match she's played. Even the ones she's lost, she's just like come out on top just because of her demeanor and how she handles herself. but also she's had a baby. And to me, I think this is big in her owning 2017 because she has had her femininity stolen from her, from people who don't even care about her. You know, they call her too strong. They compare her to, you know, they use these wicked and disgusting comparisons to try and take that away from her. And to see her navigating motherhood, to see her interacting with her own mother to talk about these things that she's been, you know, coming up with as she's a new mother. I think that's really huge, to see her as this softened person, because she's a person. And I really think that's enough, more than enough, for her to be on this list. So I definitely agree with Serena. And last but not least, my eternal fave, Solange, is on the list. I am so happy for Solange. Like, if you ask anybody who's known me since forever, I have been a Solange stan for the longest, and it's just been frustrating at times to see her put out this undeniably just breathtaking art and it just kind of be glossed over. And you know, you want people to get theirs, and I'm so happy that she's getting hers. She put out A Seat at the Table just over a year ago, and still, because she's been doing a lot of the tours and the concerts for A Seat at the Table. And I'm just so happy when I see the videos of her performing Don't Touch My Hair, and she's looking at the sisters in the audience and she's jamming with us. It's emotional for me, and I still listen to A Seat at the Table. I listen to Weary when I'm going through. I listen to Don't Touch My Hair when I need a little bit of a turn up. It's still an all-around killer album. She was recently put on the cover of Glamour's Women of the Year issue, which is huge because that's a huge honor. Also, she went blonde this year. Like, she's having a moment, and what I'm hoping that is not just a moment. I'm hoping that she's here to stay and she's here to shine. So that's everybody who was on the Shade Room's 2017 Lit list. Now, while I do by large agree with everyone who was on that list, I would like to make one addition. Teyana Taylor. I think Teyana Taylor really deserved a spot on this year's list because she has really stepped out and made a name for herself. You know, so many people, when they thought of Teyana Taylor, only thought of her from her Sweet 16 episode from years ago, or as Eazy-E's daughter. And she has had to live in that shadow, I feel, for the longest. But after she was featured in Kanye's Fade video, everyone was talking about Teyana Taylor, everybody. But if you think about it, and beyond that, her marriage and her family unit is just so adorable. Little Junie, I am in love with. She started a head wrap company. She has a fitness video line out that's doing really well. What else? I mean, she just met Janet Jackson. That's her idol. Anybody who has been paying attention knows that. Teyana Taylor has been eating this year, and I really think that she deserves to be on this list. Alright, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Seize the Day. Who do you think should have been on the list? Do you agree or disagree with some of the comments I made? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this content, make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. See y'all next time.
It just won't stop, it go bottom. Boot up, and my heart go bottom. Boot up,